Rukzuk. Simply powerful web design.
Hello everybody and welcome to our very first English webinar on rukzuk. I'm Max and with me today is Jacob, and I'm going to do the talking and Jacob's going to monitor the chat room. Today we're going to talk about a very basic topic. We're going to go through building a simple site in rukzuk from start to finish, from scratch. So let's jump right into it, shall we? I'm in my project overview here, and as you can see, I've got loads of projects in rukzuk, but I've got one called Workshop Demo, which I'm going to open. And as you can see, this is completely empty. And what we are going to build is this site. It's our little cafe site. It's got a homepage, a gallery, menu, and a contact page. So let's go ahead and build this. The first thing we're going to do is add a new layout with the plus button, and let's call this main or something. Right. As you can see, this shows me this pop-up, and this gives me these different options for base layouts, as we call them. And in this case, I'm going to choose the first one, which is a centered grid with a max width. And when I click this, this adds a couple of styles. Oh, actually quite a lot of styles. And a couple of modules. And this just will make things easier for me going on building this layout. Just will make things a little bit quicker. Right, but for now, let's go back to the overview and start building out our pages. The pages are down here. And again, I'm going to add a new one with the plus button. And let's do home. It's got these meta fields like description. Obviously, if you were building a real site, you would want to fill these out. But in this case, for the sake of time, I'm just going to leave them. Right, so we've got home. Let's do another one. Menu, I think. Gallery. And contact. There we go. And as you can see, it's got this drop-down, which says that all these pages we use the main layout. In this case, we've only got one, but obviously you could have more than one layout and you could choose. This is okay. So we've got our pages, home, menu, gallery, and contact, and they're all empty because our layout's empty. So let's go in and change this. And the first thing, so rukzuk really doesn't tell you in which way to build your sites, but I'm kind of going to show you the best practice, and that's it, to start with the static elements of your site. In this case, this would be our header with our logo and navigation and our footer, as in these elements always stay the same, whereas the content area in the middle will change from page to page and maybe over time. So let's do the header and the footer first. To do that, I'm going to add a couple of modules from the drawer at the top. And it's got this whole list. I think it's, 20 odd modules that come with rukzuk. Excuse me, there. That come with it. And I think if you are on professional plans, you can also code up your own modules, but in this case, we're just going to use the out-of-the-box set. Let's do a box for the header. Let's call this header. Let's add a image within that header box for our logo. I'm going to click the little chooser. This gives me my image gallery, and as you can see, again, for the sake of time, I've already uploaded a couple of things, including these nice foot pictures and also my logo as a PNG. I'm just going to pick this, hit apply, and this loads it into my preview. And if I come in here, I should be able to drag this a little bit smaller, maybe? Or not. Is this not a grid module? Is this? Oh, there we go. Oh, I see. Thanks, dude. That was tense. But as you can see, I can drag this smaller. Let's do this. And I've screwed up the height as well. There we go. So it isn't cut off. Like so. Maybe even a bit smaller. No, that's too small. Anyways, let's go and let's add the navigation next. And we've got a special module for that. That does most of the work for us. And it's called navigation, conveniently. And as you can see, this automatically goes out and gets our pages that we created earlier. And this will update as we add new pages. Now I'm noticing this structure is actually rubbish. I do not need the header wrapper. That just screws things up, so let's get rid of it. And do this again quickly. This is much better. Much better. As you can see, the navigation is below our logo. Now let's add some styling, because this looks like crap at the moment. And the first thing is, let's have the navigation item spread over the whole width of the container. Let's do centered maybe. Yeah, that's good. And let's add a little border at the top and at the bottom, just like in our example over here. And we can do that with styles that Rukzuk has to offer. In this case, we're going to use the border style. Yes, border top, please. Let's say gray, width 2 pixels, and border bottom 2 pixels again, and gray. Now this has a gray background, that's weird. And there we go, that's why, because it has a background style. I've got no idea why. So let's delete it, and the preview should automatically update, and the gray background disappears. Now let's change the font style for this. And it's a good idea to do your typography and stuff at the very top. So I'm going to come in here. There's a font style right at the top. And I should be able to pick a Google font in this case, or really any font that I want from the drop-down, or type it down here. But let's do Arvo, I think it is. Yeah, there we go. That looks almost like our example. The only thing we got to do is make these uppercase, right? So let's open up the navigation again, add another style, add another font style. If I can find it, there we go. And let's do capitalization. And there we go, it's uppercase. Looks just like in the example. Right, that's our header done. Now let's go for the footer. And this is very simple. It's just got a border at the top and then the copyright notice. Let's come back in here and let's do this very simply with a text module. Type in the text, or paste it in, rather, I should say. Let's do a font style for, no, hang on. Let's do a border style for border top. 1 pixel is fine. Yeah, and this is good. This looks decent. We can actually, yeah, we should make this right aligned, I think. And we're going to do that with the font style, I believe. Right, text alignment, there we go. Got a little confused there. Yeah. Nothing too bad. Yeah, this looks good. Maybe line height needs some adjustment. Nope, that's fine, okay. Right, so that's our static elements done. That's our header and our footer. And now let's go for the content area. And I'm gonna go back to the demo to show you exactly what I'm talking about. And that's this content area always changes from page to page, but we can identify some recurring elements like the headline. Right, we've got a headline on the menu page. We've got a headline on the home page. It's sort of a component, or as we call them, page blocks. It's essentially building blocks that we're going to use to build out our individual pages, or that we'll have our clients use to build out that site. So what we're going to do now is define these building blocks that we're then going to use to flesh out our pages. So let's add a page block area. Again, if I can find it, there we go. Drag it in between the footer and the header. As you can see, this now says all subordinate modules of this page block area, blah, blah, blah. But essentially, again, what this means is any modules we add below this page block area will then become components or building blocks that we can then use in pages. So we said we need a heading, so let's get this in there. We can type some placeholder text, like, no, come on. Headline 1, for example, just to make things clearer for editors or ourselves, really. Next, we need a text module, probably. Again, we could change the placeholder text, all that stuff. And let's leave it for now. And let's do a image. Because as you saw in lots of pages, we needed images. There it is. Right, and I can adjust some of these settings. I'm not going to choose an image in this case. I'm going to leave the gray placeholder because we want our editors to choose pages later on. But I'm going to adjust the height just a little bit. Right, then what else do we need? We've got the headline, we've got the text, we've got the image. We do need the gallery. That's a bit of a beast. So I think I'm going to add I'm going to add a image gallery. Got a module for that. Make sure it's not messed up. Right, and again, this would allow my editors to add these images from the media database if they want it. But I can actually do that, just to make things easier to see. And as you can see, these show up in my preview, and I'm going to adjust some of the settings. Let's do 4 columns, some horizontal distance, some vertical distance, like so. Right, good. So we've got our headline, text, image, image gallery. The only thing we need now is the on the contact page, we've got this kind of text on the left type of thing, and then the Google map on the right, and we're going to make this whole thing, this whole beast, the text and the map, its own page block. And to do that, we're going to use I might use... No, I'm just going to use a box. Never mind. I'm going to call this something like map text. And within this map and text container, I'm now going to add the Google Maps module and again the text module. Actually, what I should have used is a grid module because we want these two next to each other, right? The text and the map, and the grid module is just perfect for that. So let's go back a step and use a grid module. Again, call this map and text. Add a Google Map and add a text module. Right, maybe drag this on top. And I can just use the handlers, drag this a bit smaller as well, and it shouldn't break and come up next to the text, just the way we expect it to. Right, so this is good. We've got all our building blocks in place. They may not look as nice, but for the sake of time, let's just go with it. We've got our building blocks in place, and now we can go ahead and hit save and go back to our project view. And now we can go in and build out our pages. And as you can see, these pages are empty at the moment. They've just got the static elements, the navigation and the footer. But now, since we added the page block array, we can fill out the content area of the pages. So let's just get started with the home page. It shows me the big gray plus button. I'm just going to click it, and as you can see, this now has our own custom-built building blocks for our site. So heading, image gallery, map and text, and the usual text module. So let's start with the heading. Right, and as you can see, I can't edit this. Funnily enough, that's because I forgot to give myself editing rights. That's very important. It's kind of a basic principle, and that's any element you add in layout mode isn't editable. You need to specifically say which elements you want your content editors to be able to edit. In this case, I forgot, so I can just use these little lock icons, click them, and now this text should be editable in page mode. I'm just going to go through and do this for all of these modules. There we go. Okay. Let's allow this image. Right, again. And again over here the text. Oops, it's always the wrong one. Right, but we do want to do these, allow these text formats for our editors. And for the Google Map, we want the address to be editable. So I think we're all set. Yeah, I think we're good. Should be okay now. So again, let's go back to the project overview. Come into the home page. Now I'm able to come in here and click this headline and edit it. So let's do hello world. Now let's add a text module right below this. And the way I'm doing this is I click on the heading, and then here in the top right it shows me this little plus icon. If I click it, it brings up this dialog again. And I'm just going to do text. I could add it above or below. Just going to do below, text, insert. There it is. And I could, of course, edit this text, do a little welcome message. But to save time, I'm not going to do that. Let's hit save and go for the next page. I'm not going to do the menu page because if you remember, it's basically the same. It's just headlines and text and a couple of images. The gallery page will be more interesting to look at. So let's skip over the menu, go into the gallery, and do this. Now, again, I've clicked the gray plus button. It's brought up this dialog, and this time I'm going to do image gallery and insert. And if I've set things up correctly, I should now be able to click the properties tab, right, and add images to the gallery, just as expected. And also drag these around, change the order if I wanted. And if I hit apply, they show up, they show up in my preview. And again, I could add another page block, say a headline above my gallery. I think you get the concept. Right, so let's hit save. Come back here and do our contact page. This is quite interesting because again, you know the process by now. I hit the gray plus button. And now we're going to do map and text. And hopefully, yeah, this inserts, as you can see, the whole entire thing. So instead of one module like before, this now inserts 3, the container, the text, and the Google map. And they are indeed editable. Got a little bit scared there. Come, say hi. Right. And I could also, of course, change the address. Right, and that's basically our site built. We've got our layout, we've got our pages, but still a bit dull, if you will. So let's come back into the layout and add some more flavor to it, add some more effects, for example. Like if you look at this navigation, it doesn't really tell me that this is interactive, right? There's really no way to tell these links are clickable because they don't do anything. But let's add some mouse over effects and stuff to make things a little bit easier for people to use, shall we? So let's come into the layout. And what shall we go for first? Let's do the mouse over effects. So I'm in my navigation. And I'm just going to add some styles. First off, let's do some padding and margin, because this all looks a bit crammed together, doesn't it? So let's do margin top 15, margin bottom 15. And let's add a hover style to these links. Now, to add hover styles, there's a bit of a concept that you need to understand first, and that's selectors and state selectors in rukzuk. So selectors, what they do is allow you to get your hands on elements, individual elements within bigger modules. So in my navigation element, I could style the whole entire navigation block, which is this. Now if I want to go in and style the individual links, like the home link or the menu link, I do need to use a selector. And as you can see, I've already added one, and I can, in the settings, come in and choose what I'd like to select. So let's do, I think, all navigation links should be fine. Now any styles that I add underneath this selector will only apply to all navigation links. Right, so let's try that. Let's do, I don't know, just to make things clear, let's do a background style. Let's do background blue. And as you can see, it only applies to the links. If I drag this up here, it applies to the whole thing. Let's delete this again. Come back in here and let's use this selector to add hover styles to these links. And to do that, we use the state selector. And this gives me the option to do pressed, focused, and mouse over. And I think it's quite self-explanatory. It applies styles whenever these states are active. So in my case, that's mouse over. And let's do font style, because we want to change the color. Font color. Let's do blue. Now hopefully, as I mouse over, yeah, there we go. Changes the color to blue. Much better, isn't it? Right, so that's good. That's our mouse over effects. for the navigation, that's selectors. And now as for advanced styling, we've designed the site on the big screen on my big MacBook. But of course, in this day and age, you do need to account for smaller screens and mobile devices and stuff and phones, because that's what people use the web on. And in rukzuk, we've got a whole lot of functions to make this easy for you. As you can see on the right here, I've got these breakpoints, and if I click these, the preview area should resize, as you can see, and I can also do this manually. So let's come down to a smallish phone, I want to say. And as you can see, this is super messed up. This does not look good at all. So let's go in and fix a couple of things. 750 is quite messed up, isn't it? So let's start with 750 pixels. And the first thing I'm going to do is just drag this logo a bit smaller. And I can just come and do this, like so. Make sure it's centered. And this should remember these settings. Right? If I come back to the default resolution, it's a bit bigger. If I come down to 750, it's smaller. And then 550, yeah, it looks fine. As you can see, this automatically scales as I go. So 750, what else do we need to do? Looks okay-ish to me. Let's do 550. Now this Google map gets a bit small. So let's do the same thing again. Come in here, make sure I'm in the right context. And let's just make this text 100% width. Oh, 100% wide, excuse me. And the map as well. So it looks decent on smaller screens. Right, and that's of course just the tip of the iceberg, right? Responsive design is a whole beast of its own. But I guess what I want to say is rukzuk gives you all the tools you need to make things happen. Right, and it's simple things like changing the layout or changing the font size in this case, but of course it's capable of doing much more complicated stuff as well. And do be aware that in rukzuk it's always desktop first, right? So that's a mistake I made when I got started, because I'm a bit of a mobile first guy. So what I did was build out my layout on the small screen and then try and go up. That doesn't work at the moment, unfortunately. So do make sure to start with the default resolution and then go down the breakpoints, see if stuff breaks. If it does, fix it, and you should be good. Right, and that's pretty much the end of my notes, I think. We've built the pages, we've built our layout, we've done some responsive design, and we've done some very simple mouse over effects. I think we're okay. I hope you enjoyed it. Right, so yeah, right. Let's do some questions and answers. Styling of links inside of text elements. Very good. So let's set this up real quick, and I'm gonna come in here to my homepage. Oh, this doesn't work. Okay, never mind. Let's come over here in my layout. Click into the text area, and let's just add a link really fast so we can see what we're talking about. Let's see, now let's allow links. Let's add one to, let's say, to external link to http://google.com. Oh, and as you can see, this already has some default styling. That we can change this, of course. And again, this is what selectors are for, right? So you've got the text module and you want to get your hands on the little element inside of it. Yeah, Jacob is saying there are some styles up here in the base module, but I think for this example we could just override those, right? So let's add a style, let's do a selector. And again, because this selector is on a text module, it gives me different options. And this has links in it, has also external links. And let's just do all links. And let's add, I don't know, let's add a font style maybe. And make the links blue. So again, the font style is underneath the selector. And if I do font color blue, it should work out. Right, there we go. And again, this is just the tip of the iceberg. You can basically do anything you want, right? This is the easiest example I could possibly imagine, right? And you could, of course, also add a state selector to this and add mouse over effects and stuff to your links inside of text areas. Right, hope that covers your question. Is there anything else? Oh yeah, sure. So we talked about responsive design earlier, and a lot of people say, and I completely agree with this, is if you're working on responsive design, you should totally test your designs on real devices, not just the computer that you're working on. In this case, my MacBook. So we've got a really handy tool for that in rukzuk, and that's right down here in the corner. It's the little QR code button. If I click it, it gives me this code, which I could now scan with my phone. And this would bring me to a live preview of my site. It's essentially the same thing I get when I click on the little magnifying glass. It's just more convenient because this has got a crazy URL, and the QR code will bring me directly to that preview site on my phone or on my tablet or whatever device you want to test on. Right, anything else? Rather than me showing anything wrong. So, if there aren't any more questions, I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any ideas for future workshops, please do let us know. Hit us up on Facebook. I don't know, just search for rukzuk Facebook. Nope. Rukzuk Facebook, there we go. Our Facebook account is now exclusively in English. So if you're listening, if you're English speaking or American or whatever, if you're English speaking, please go ahead, like us on Facebook. Or if you're on Twitter, we're at rukzuk on Twitter. So if you want to hit us up, please do. Right, anything else? All right, we're good. It's evening where we are. I think for most of you,